beloved, welcome back to the homestead. Today we're going to be working on the cozy cabin. We're going to be putting the second story up. I've got some really beautiful Douglas fir 2x6 T&G decking. Let's go take a look at that and then we'll jump into the project. This is one of my favorite wood products. It is Select Deck or Douglas fir red fir T&G decking. This is really strong. I put it on the walls of my studio, but it really makes a good second story floor because it's finished top and bottom. What I hope to accomplish today is to get the whole floor done here. Now that will be exposed from the bottom, so it'll look super nice, and then we'll have a nice, well, let's take a look from upstairs. I got the ladder, we're working with this ladder. We're not sure exactly where we're gonna put it, trying different things, but this is where all of that decking will go. It's cut flat here, so it should be simple. We're cut into the walls. Hopefully that will fit. If not, we'll trim that a little bit, but I think we should just get started and start going. I don't think we're gonna need two of these. Once we get the decking started, then we'll be able to work off of that. Let's jump up there and see if that will fit into that big mortise. The good folks at Metal-Arc, bless them, cut out with a chainsaw a groove for this decking to fit in. Hopefully it fits. It's a little remnant of that wood dowel that we put in there, sticking up proud. Let's see how she fits. Okay, so this is what we've got. Unfortunately, this is not cut quite thick enough to get that car decking underneath. It's bumping in a few places as well as over here. It's very, very close. So what we'll do is we'll jam that in there as tight as it will go, and I'll scribe this with my pencil right on top of here. A few spots here that we'll have to trim out. There is certainly more than one way to skin a cat when doing this. We could either cut it with a skill saw, or maybe the chainsaw might be the best way to go. I've got this small top handle. It's easy to handle. I think if we get in there and just cut right at that line, we'll be in good shape here. This can is called a Dalmar. That's what we call it, what the Forest Service calls it, or wildland firefighting. A Dalmar is a dual can that's got bar oil and mix. We got a new tool. We got a cordless air compressor. Actually, this is Jack's. He's loaning it to us. He got a scholarship from Metallica to buy a bunch of Milwaukee tools for his construction class. So this is one of the things he bought. So we'll try that out today. We'll use that with a stapler, floor stapler, but for now, let's blow those chips out of there and see if we trimmed enough. You see, if you were falling off of a roof and you grabbed this airline, hoping that it would catch on something to save your life, no, that would never happen. But you just pull it across the ground and it'll cause all sorts of problems and hook on everything. Looks like everything is going to fit just fine, but we have to trim that because it's a little bit too long. These are 12 footers. And we'll just run them long and then cut everything once it's all installed to have a nice clean edge there to trim out. Here's my new favorite tool. This track saw is where it's at. This eliminates a table saw. I find that I'm just grabbing it for everything now. It's a cabinet shop in one tool. Such a nice saw. Really leaves a clean cut, no tear out. Beautiful tool. Beautiful. Look at that. I had to trim just a little bit, about the thickness of the bar, but look how nice that is. It just comes right out and we'll be able to start laying the floor. So let's pull a measurement from here to there on both sides to make sure that this thing is sitting perpendicular to the, so that we're running straight across there. I'm thinking if we lay one of these straight 2x across the wall, and that will give us kind of an average, something that we can measure against, some consistency. Now we can measure across both sides and straighten, kind of square our first board up. All right, gentlemen, I think we are ready to start with the decking. I've got it squared, and I'm going to I'll shoot a couple nails in from underneath, blind nails, and hold it in position, and then we can start laying. Everything is going really good. The material is really straight, so it's pretty easy to work with. I am going to have to recut this section. I cut up to there and then I quit, but it won't fit inside there. It looks like it's made for 3/4 material, not for 1.5 inches. So I marked it, scribed it, and then we'll trim that out kind of as we go. The thing with this tongue and groove is that this groove needs to be tight, and you've got crooked boards and twisted boards, and so you have to kind of manipulate it a little bit. So I'll show you. I'll just go through the process here. I'll let you watch me do one. When you're installing this tongue and groove, you always want to have the tongue sticking out. You cut a small block, a scrap. You don't want to pound on this because it mashes the tongue and then it's really difficult to get together. So you put a piece, the female piece on there, and then you tap on that. Here's that block. See the female? You just put that right in the tongue, and then you pound on that. These are the screws, little 2.5-inch stainless Torx screws. Just toe-nailing those in. If you toe-nail them in, see how small that head is? It's not going to interfere with that tongue. Sometimes if you have something that's cracked out like that or sticking up, trim that off, because that really gives you grief when you're trying to put it together, especially when you're working by yourself. Make sure that this is always clean. Now we've got a little bit of a gap right there. Knock that over. If you can't get it tight enough, have a poundable chisel. And you can force it over, put some pressure on it, and then set your screw in. So we'll just pry that over and get your screw in it. Oh, easy peasy. All right, beloved, no pro-hoe job would be complete without a complete mess up or a reversal or something that you have to do twice, and that's certainly the case for me right now. I am exactly halfway done, and I just realized I have to fish wire through that plug, and I thought, will it slip by? No, it will not. And unless you know about a drill bit that can turn 90 degrees, that's not happening. So what we have, these are all pre-drilled, and what I did, you see right there, that slot, I should have fished that wire through there. At least I should have held the board short. So all this has to come off all the way to the plug, and I need to do it over again. So here we go. Okay, pulled half those boards off. You can see that's the race. It looks like right there, so we've got to feed that wire down through there. I figured it out. So what I had to do was to run Romex from this plug down, that plug down, and the good folks at Meadowlark cut a chainsaw groove in there where that wire runs. And now these 3 wires will run down, and I mark them so the electrician will hook those up. This will be a wall right there with the electrical panel, so those will go right into the panel. So that is done. So now I can continue with the boards. I completely forgot that. Actually, Jalon told me about that the last day he was here. He actually pointed to it, and I got thinking, got going on with what I was doing and not thinking, and now we're done. So there's the switch there for the overhead lights, and that will feed these 2 here. So we're all good now. We can carry on. Got lucky, it only stripped 1 screw head out, and it happened to be on the end, so easy to get to. Mrs. Wranglerstar is in the house. What'd you bring me for lunch?
I brought you a turkey ciabatta, chocolate chip cookies, apple slices, potato chips, and lemonade.
Oh, thank you, baby. That looks so good. Jack's been to Trader Joe's, I see. get a number of how short we are and then get those ordered ASAP. All right, beloved, that's all I can do today. We did not order enough boards. I think we ordered for 12 instead of 18 feet, so only 10 boards shy. But no big deal. Those will go in quite quickly. These turned out beautiful. This second story is nice. It's tall. Like I can reach 8 feet and I can't touch it. It's probably 9 feet to the peak. And the way that it tucks underneath those logs looks really good. Thank goodness I got that electrical ran. So there'd be a switch there, but that's a plug and a switch for the lights, and then a plug over there. So probably put 3 twin beds up here. But very nice. This select deck is very strong. Don't feel really any movement to speak of. But very, very cool. Let's check it out from below. The tools I used today, I think it's always kind of fun to look at that. So speed square. These little M12s, I only just changed the battery. It lasted, that one of these little ones, the little 6.0 batteries, lasted all of these. And then taking them loose and doing some of them over. So these are great little tools, very, very handy, very, very good tools. Nail gun for holding some stuff. Chainsaw works really good. We'll use that next time. And that's it, hammer. Look at that. That's the best part about this select deck. Now, when this is all done, I'll use that track saw and we'll trim these all flush. They'll be perfect, and I'll put some sort of a cool fascia on there. But the nice thing about this is your floor is your finish. Looks good, doesn't it? This is tall. Again, I can reach 8 feet, and I'm still probably 8'3", 8'4" to the bottom of that, so it doesn't feel too bad. Yeah, that's cool. It's very cool. Looks great. Got to do a little bit of sanding. There's a few boards that had a little bit of stuff on them, but I'm very, very pleased. Well, gentlemen, I guess that's about it for me. That select deck is special order, so it's not something that I can go pick up, so that might be a couple days out. Tomorrow, we'll be able to get started outside on the deck, and we're gonna do a really nice job on that. We got that beautiful 2x6 seater, and we're gonna do something a little bit different with the handrails, so come join us for that. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out with me. May God bless you and your families. Please keep my family in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.